Yeah. What's going on, man? It's Ed Memphis. Keep it pimping. Better not stop. Always gonna keep gripping. Cause you understand the way we living, and I'm gonna keep dripping. You understand me? This Ed Memphis at Business Square on Twitter. You can follow me at BIDNESSSQUARE. Man, I don't play no games when you know who it is. It's a Square Business Sports segment. I want to talk about the Grizzlies this afternoon because right now they currently sitting at 7 and they only 2 games out of the ninth spot in the draft, which means that at the ninth spot they'll be able to convey this year's 2019 first round draft pick that they owe to Boston, which is top 8 protected. Meaning that as long as the pick is in the top 8 draft spots, meaning the Grizzlies will have to finish in the worst 8 of the NBA, the 8 worst teams of the NBA. If they finish within the 8th worst teams, then the Grizzlies keep the pick. If the Grizzlies make it to the ninth worst team in the league, then they get to convey the pick. So with that being said, a lot of folks in Memphis are saying, well, convey the pick because this year's draft is not as nowhere near as good as next year's draft, which is the 2020 draft or the 2021 draft. Okay, let's say that is the case. By the way, a little merch drop. Ed Memphis hats, man. You can ask about one. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard. Shout out to Roland. Shout out to Real. Shout out to LeBron James. Shout out to everybody that be on my stream. Shout out to Chuck, Mr. Chuck 901. Shout out to T Freeman. Shout out to Aunt Memphis boy in Texas. Shout out to Southern Red Legs. Shout out to everybody that's rocking with me like cut off stockings pimping. So we're gonna get back into it. So the Grizzlies, everybody's thinking in the city is convey the pick this year. Let's convey the pick. Let's get rid of this pick so we get a better pick next year. Well, okay, this is the thing. So you convey the pick. All right, keep in mind, we also, as of right now, do not have a second round draft pick. We do not have a second round draft pick as of right now. So we don't have a first round pick or a second round draft pick if we convey the pick this year. Okay, so let's say we are totally out of this draft, right? So we convey this year's first round pick to the Boston Celtics to settle that debt. All right. So now we get our picks back for 2020 and 2021. We know for sure we have our picks as of right now. Okay. Let's say that's the case. Now we go into this summer, no draft picks. So that means we have no rookies or potential upgrade unless we grab some kid out of undrafted free agency or something like that. But for the most part, we won't have any incoming rookie class, right? Okay. Most of the assets on the team are free agents. So they're pretty much not going to be tradable, right? Unless you can figure out a way to trade Jonas, which is the way the city is starting to like him. It's going to be rather hard for them to do. I think they might even want to keep Jonas. I don't agree with it. But, I ain't going to lie. Our fan base is so dingy. And I mean, I don't know what to say. The organization is just, I don't know. So yeah, whatever. They keep Jones or whatever. All right. So let's say we going into this free agency this summer. We have no draft picks, so we ain't got no rookies coming in, right? So the only way for us to make changes is to sign a veteran talent, right? So you're gonna want to sign a veteran talent that's gonna help the team's chances of winning and improving, right? That's the natural thing they're gonna want to do. So for some reason this team is always focused on winning. And it's always right now winning. It's always winning in the present. It's never big picture, it's never the future. They're always operating in the present. So for right now, they're going to want to win 9 times out of 10 unless they try to trade some of the players they have right now. Mike Conley, which the way this team is acting, they're so goofy. They're not going to even trade Mike Conley. They're just going to ride Mike Conley's wave out until he gets older and we're stuck with him. His last year, his salary, and he's probably not even half of the player he was. He might be. But even if so, a full 100% Mike Conley still is not a $153 million player. Let's just keep it a buck. But that's a conversation for another day. So back to what we're talking about. So the Grizzlies conveyed a pick this year. They go in, no rookies in the draft. The problem with that you're forced to go out and get veterans, like I was saying, to improve the team. Now the problem is you're going into next year. If this team is as good as people are trying to make it out to be right now, as far as the potential of this team, I'm not saying they all the folks trying to say they're great, but people feel like this team has promise. I don't think this roster needs to have any promise. I think you tear it down, trade any. I think you treat this like a total 100% out of business liquidation. You trade every single asset except one, and it's Jaren Jackson. And maybe Javon Carter. Everything else is up for sale, especially if you offer first round picks or high to mid second round picks. Everything is up for sale. Mike Conley, the floor on the court, the jerseys, everything is up for sale. Everybody's up for grabs, in my opinion. All right. So you don't. The problem with the direction of this team, to sum it all together, because I know people thinking I'm all over the place. The problem with this team though is that the Grizzlies don't. If let's say they focus on improving this team this year, which means if they convey the pick, they'll probably get around 30, 35 wins, about 35 wins. So if you get 35 wins and you come back next year and you improving on 35 wins, that'll put you from 9 or 10, where we probably gonna be at this year. To convey the pick, we would have to be at 9, at least 9 or 10 possibly. Ninth worst in the league or 10th worst in the league is what I'm referring to. And at 9 or 10, if you improve on it, now you dropping down to 13, 12, 13, 14, 11, 12, 13, 14, or even potentially out of the lottery, which means you make the playoffs. More than likely, you're not going to drop that far. You're not going to get that much better, but you're going to get better just enough to get to the bottom of the lottery, which is pretty much a very bad spot to be, unless it's a prospect on the board that's just really slipping. That's supposed to be like a top 5 potential player. So let's say you convey the pick this year. Basically what I'm saying, you convey if the Memphis Grizzlies convey the 2019 first round pick, and you improve this summer, because that's the only thing you can try to do is sign veterans to improve, because you don't have draft picks to develop. You don't have any more of the draft picks other than Jaren Jackson Jr. So you're going to try to improve the team with veteran pieces. Pieces is already in the league. You're looking for guys that can win games. That's what they're going to be. That's what they're going to be thinking. Instead of them thinking trade the players away, the Grizzlies are going to be thinking this summer on how they can try to improve the core that they have, improve on Conley, Jonas, and whatever, Avery Bradley and all that other stuff, which I like Avery Bradley. But I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not trying to build no core off of that. Are you kidding me? It's just a waste of time. It's just so annoying. But if that's what they want to do, hey, whatever. So you improve on that, and you go from 35 wins because you add a couple of more pieces, a couple of veteran pieces that know how to win a couple of more games. Let's say you, and then the chemistry puts that together. So let's say y'all able to win 40 games. You barely missed the playoffs, so you're sitting around 13 or 14 in the draft next year. Is the 13th or 14th pick in the draft next year really better than a top 6 or top 5 pick in this year's draft? That's what you got to ask yourself. That's what people are not seeing in the city. That's what they're not observing or realizing. They're not thinking a step ahead. Okay, so after you convey the pick, what next? What's the plan? Because you don't have any incoming rookies to develop. So that means that you don't have any incoming rookies, and you really don't have any draft. I mean, you don't have any real tradable assets to trade to get draft picks. Then you're going to be stuck trying to find scrap veterans off of free agency to improve the team. The same thing they did last year, going out getting guys, trading for guys like Garrett Temple, expiring draft picks, good locker room guys that can, maybe scrap you together a couple more games. Then with the combination of the chemistry of them keeping this same team together, they're naturally going to probably win about 2 or 3 more games just knowing each other more. So now you sit them at 40 wins and you at the bottom of the lottery in next year's draft. Now you ask yourself, do I want to be in the bottom of the lottery in next year's draft, or do I want to be in the top of the lottery in this year's draft? Because that's the situation they're getting ready to be in. And that's what people are not realizing across the city. Y'all are not realizing this, Memphis. If the Grizzlies convey the pick this year, they're going to try to get better. And if they get better, that means they sit further down in the lottery next year. So do you want a bottom lottery mid first round pick next year? Or do you want a top 5 pick this year? At least top 6, because that's where we were just at. That's what you got to ask yourself. Then what happens next year? If you get that pick, it's mid first round. You gotta pray that somebody is a stud. The Grizzlies don't draft well in the mid first round. Never have, never will. Looks like it. Not with the current regime they got in there. So now you got this Grizzlies team who doesn't draft well, drafted in the worst position that they need to be in, which is the mid first round. Because we all know, looking at previous history of the Grizzlies, they draft terrible in the mid first round. I need to remind y'all of Xavier Henry, Jarrell Martin, Wade Baldwin, Troy Bell, Dante Jones. Who else? Tony Roten. You know what I'm saying? Do I need to keep going? So that's what y'all need to think about, Memphis Grizzlies fans. Do you convey the pick this year and get your pick back next year? Conveying the pick this year means you get a pick next year, a lower pick in the draft next year, all likelihood. Or do you want basically, to boil it all down, do you want a mid first round pick next year or a top 5, 6 pick this year? That's my question, y'all. Grind City, Grit Grind Nation, Memphis Grizzlies world. Holler at your boy Ed. Memphis is a square business.